Hello, today we visit r/AskReddit to see what is something you regret spending a lot of money on. Make sure to comment your worst purchase you have made. With that, sit back and enjoy. Alright, I'm not going to make you wait for my favorite answer, so here it is. So I bought a camel at an auction one time. He was expensive, but the damage he did around the farm was worse. Destructive, stinky creatures, but they're so ducking weird you just have to love him. Looking back, I probably should have spent my money on literally anything else. My wedding. I'm not a very social person, so basically it was a $20,000 silent panic attack surrounded by 120 people, half of whom I don't even know. If I could go back in time with this knowledge, I'd do a $20,000 elopement and travel together for a few months or something. My brother spent $40K on a wedding. He and his wife spent the year planning and being excited, had the moms all going over it. The day came super quick and me as a best man couldn't care. The night was fun and I'm glad they had fun too. It was a great party, but the day after, it was like nothing ever happens. We all went back to our own lives. $40K. My cousin spent around the same for his wedding, but the worst part was that he chose the hottest day of the month. Plus the shade they chose was that really thin see-through fabric that hardly made any shade, and on top of that, they had it at a farm, so there were hardly any trees. Just dirt. And I was a groom and could not stop sweating, so I had to change my white shirt, and so did most of the grooms. The wedding picture looks weird because some of us have different colored shirts and we're all sweaty. I had a good time, but the heat and the location of the wedding just made it unbearable. I'm a wedding photographer, and I seriously wish I could tell people how often panic attacks or extreme anxiety hit most people on their wedding. Honestly, it's a lot and so many eyes on you. It's really sad how there's a lot of pressure to love your wedding, while doing many activities that are super stressful. Clothes for special occasions. Why do we do this? I just spent money on a new outfit to wear to my daughter's orchestra concert. She's in 5th grade. Wear it whenever you want. Make it fashion. I like the nice clothes, I wear them to the grocery store, I don't care. I want to look awesome, I'm gonna look awesome when I want to look awesome, not waiting for a special occasion to come up. I am making today a special day by dressing up for it. This is good advice. It's a pretty dress. Comfortable fabric and a solid color. It's the shoes that always get me lol. Boots. Boots are the answer. Any type, any height, any color. Actual snow boots might look a bit odd in hot weather, I guess. But you could always get the type that are only fleecy on the inside, lol. Drugs. I spent thousands of dollars over the 10 years of active addiction. I not only paid with cash, but also paid with my life, health, relationships and more. Totally not worth it at all. Coming up on 3 years clean and sober. Did you get them back now that you're clean? Yes to most, but no to a few. The health is a permanent problem as I almost lost both of my arms. I had 8 surgeries in 1 year to save them. I have metal rods and screws in my arms and my hands will never open up completely again, nor will my arms turn. But thank God I have arms still. Permanent reminder to never go back. Christmas presents for my high school girlfriend only to find out she had been banging multiple dudes while we were together. Duck you, Emily. Duck you, Emily. Duck you, Emily. Everyone was already ducking Emily. A wedding. Definitely this. My wife and I initially planned our wedding in May of 2020, but that quickly got shot down because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, we put our plans on hold for the time being. We eventually got married in September of 2021 during a time when COVID numbers in my community were relatively low and restrictions were at a point where it was safe to gather in small numbers. My parents wanted my wife and I to spend a boatload of money on a huge, extravagant wedding with family coming in from out of town and the whole 9 yards. We instead wanted a small backyard wedding with immediate family, masks, and social distancing. My wife's parents also suggested the idea of a potluck since our guest numbers would be so low in comparison to our initial wedding plans. Trying to explain this to my parents was like talking to a brick wall. They called our wedding plans a farce and thought it was a joke. At one point, I told them they didn't have to come if they didn't like our plans. It was hard for me to say that, but I also felt it was necessary if they were going to be rude and so blatantly disrespectful. They ended up coming and enjoying themselves on our wedding day. Where I live, the average wedding costs $30,000. Why drop that insane amount of money on a wedding when you can have a small, intimate ceremony and use the money you saved to go on a honeymoon you'll remember for a lifetime? Edit. Our initial wedding plans included catering and invitations for family to come in from out of town. We had to change the plans because of the pandemic and local COVID restrictions. My ex. Same. I paid for a trip to Hawaii. He dumped me 2 weeks after we got back. He'd been planning the breakup for months. An old buddy of mine got dumped on the trip once when he was younger. Trip was to Spain from the US law. He got there and met his girlfriend's new friend. She met while studying abroad, aka, her next boyfriend. I'll never understand why she felt like the right decision was letting him go all that way for a face-to-face breakup. People are cruel, man. Felt super bad for the guy at the time, but he's doing well now, so it is all good. I broke up with my college girlfriend when she told me I needed to buy her a $300 pair of sunglasses to prove I loved her. I figured that wouldn't be the last time she demanded I use my hard-earned money on some overpriced shit she didn't really need. Law school. I was a lawyer for 14 years. Hated most of it. Wrecked my health overworking. Still owe on my student loan too. Wait, really? 14 years of on a lawyer's salary still wasn't enough to pay off student loans? Damn. I feel for you. I know what it's like to be stuck in a job you hate. The golden handcuffs effect is real. But for friggin' 14 years without at least a big pile of money at the end is damned awful. Only partners and senior associates make the big bucks at most firms. If you don't fast track to those positions, you're stuck paying hundreds of thousands in loans on what amounts to a sub $50K salary a lot of the time. As a lawyer myself that's married to a lawyer, I have a really hard time believing this. So much money to be made and so much demand for talent. Maybe in a small town or a particularly poor attorney. We paid off my wife's law school loans 2 years out of school, and neither of us were at big law firms at the time. College. Ended up going to trade school anyhow to get a job. Community college is a really safe bet. Low-cost college and still land a decent paying job without wasting 5 years at the university. Yeah. Community college and a general education degree. Then don't just get a degree in something because you like the subject, unless you have ample amounts of trust fund money. Figure out which degrees actually get people jobs, and which ones don't. It's a shame people's parents don't explain this stuff to them before they waste so much time and money. See, I think this is terrible advice. Don't go to college and be miserable studying something you don't like just to get a job you won't like either. Just be well aware of your goals and limitations with the degree you are pursuing. I know people with history and English degrees making bank doing a variety of different things. A degree is a way to open doors otherwise you might not be able to without one. Tons of jobs require any degree, not any specific degree. The arts are as important as STEM in my opinion. I say this as a person with a STEM degree. Cosmetologist. Procedures and creams was not helping with my acne. The bitch charged me so much and my acne got worse than before I came to her. Went to a dermatologist, got relatively cheap prescription medicine, worked wonders. I was spending so much on expensive creams that didn't work. Then the pandemic came, I stopped wearing makeup regularly, and I switched to CeraVe face wash and creams. My skin has never been clearer. Marlboro. I quit when it was still $5 a pack and I still spent way too much on it. It's over $12 now. I don't understand how anyone is still smoking. The Australian government purposefully makes the price very high to deter smokers. A 20-pack is about 27 United States dollars now, or $40 Australian. And they still buy it? What the duck? Yes, some do. There's also a massive and very well-organized tobacco black market here. Almost every suburb has that one tobacconist or corner shop which has either what we call chop, basically small bales of roll-your-own pre-rolled boxes of the same, and or duty-free imports that have made it to our isolated but huge island without duty being paid. Usually all cash, so no trails. Honestly? My wife's engagement ring. I spent a pretty penny on it despite her begging me to go cheap our entire relationship. I know she loves it anyway, but the money could have been better spent towards our wedding or our house. I proposed without a ring, and then we went to a jewelry store after, so she could have input. First thing the salesman put on her finger, her immediate response was, "Oh, that's way too big." It was very clear the salesman had never heard a woman say that about a diamond before. Collecting merch items. You'd think you'll never lose interest in something, then boom. From one week to another you just don't care anymore and have hundreds down the drain on items you don't even like and just bought for the sake of your collection. Often the value even goes down or you get scammed buying rare items off someone. Funko Pops lol. Just sold my entire Funko Pop collection for about break even and am extremely lucky. I love Rick and Morty and decided to start collecting all of them. After the 100th of mostly just Rick and Morty in different costumes, I decided it had to go. I actually have a closet now and will never buy another. I have a lot of Star Wars ones, over 100 anyway. Mostly OG Star Wars characters, some prequel, some limited edition stuff, etc. I put them up for sale on the country local garage sale website, got a few lowball offers and a few people trying to cherry pick but ultimately didn't make a sale. Like guys, if you want Queen Amidala you've gotta take the Gamorrean Guard reprint too. All or nothing. Haha. I went through the buy program through $7 a pop. If you have a decent amount of high value pops they will consider buying everything you have. I had 104 pops and about 20 high value ones so they came and picked them up in a box truck. Got paid and went on my way. So happy to have my display cabinets cleared out as well. Now time to fill them with the plastic crack I call Warhammer miniatures, haha. Time for the lightning round. The Dyson Airwrap. If you've got thick or heavy hair, don't bother. When my son was born in the early 80s I bought a set of encyclopedias. Sigh. By the time he was old enough to really use them, the internet obviated any need for them. My new TV. Nothing wrong with it, it just turns out my old one wasn't broken after all. Alcohol at bars. I never wake up feeling like, money well spent. Usually I wake up feeling like, when did we get a pet tiger? Fast food. Overly expensive, usually unhealthy, and never very filling. Online dating. Paid for a premium subscription but barely used it. Then I forgot to cancel it and had to pay for another year. Learned my lesson there. A watch, 5 figures and it sits on a winder 99% of the time while I wear my Garmin. Thank you for watching all the way until the end and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your worst purchase. Click the video above if you want to continue to watch my content. Until next time.